Pronunciation. Pronunciation. Now, the different sounds you can hear in spoken French can nearly be heard in the English language too, except for a few exceptions, such as the deep in the throat R, the deep in the throat R nasal vowels, and the quaint U sound. But do not let these French sounds intimidate you. While learning the French language, it can be quite effective to simply mimic the French accent you have heard from movies and TV shows. Vowel sounds. In general, the sounds of French are short and do not glide into other vowels. For instance, the word café is both included in the English and French vocabulary, but their pronunciation is slightly different. The A in the French café sounds sharper and shorter. Café, 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 café. Yes, because the reason why it sounds shorter is because, please be paying attention. If you're watching this video right now, you're watching this and listen to this, pay attention. Naturally, the A sound is not in the French language. It's A. They have café. That's how they pronounce it in French, café. But in English, they say café. That's for those of you who speak American English, right? Café. Then British English, what café, A. But in French, A, not A. That's what that means, okay? That the A in the French café sounds sharper and shorter. Café, not café. Now you know. French vowels are also divided into soft vowels. The letters A and E that are pronounced with a soft intonation, and hard vowels, the letters R, O, and U that are pronounced with hard intonations. One thing to take note of about the vowel letters of the French language is that these are often pronounced in their purest forms. This is in contrast to the way that vowels are often pronounced by English speakers in a Y or a W sound at the end. For instance, in English, the letter O is often pronounced as O or OW, or O, sorry, but in French it would just be pronounced as a short, sharp O. Oh, yes, it's true. In French, O is the pronunciation, not O. Well, because I don't want to lose my English accent, I sometimes disobey that rule though. I like pronouncing it as O and not O. Yes, that is not advisable for you as a student. The right pronunciation is O, not O. Okay, there's not like O in English, in French. It's O. Okay, don't forget that. Then, there are also two different ways of writing and therefore pronouncing the letter U. When it is written as a single vowel right after a consonant, it should be pronounced with a short and sharp U sound similar to the English words do, who, and shoes. Some examples of French words with a short, sharp U sound are fut, juice, tu, vu. A native English speaker might pronounce these words with a Y sound before the U so that the word view will be pronounced as view. In order to avoid this mistake, the speaker would have to make sure that the tongue is in the right position. Specifically, it should be bending slightly toward, upward at the front portion of the mouth. Specifically, it should be bending. The tip of the tongue should be reaching upward towards the alveolar ridge, though it should not make contact with the ridge completely. The lips will be puckered in an O-looking position. Okay. Foot, juice, tu, view. On the other hand, the letter U is also often written with a letter O before it. Some examples of words with a combined O and U are fou, tu, okay, vous, bureau, okay, yes, and so on and so forth. Now let's move down a bit. Nasal vowel sounds. A nasal vowel is pronounced as if you are attempting to push the sound out of your nose instead of your mouth. Don't be intimidated because it is really simpler than you think. There are also some nasal vowels in the French language, such as sing, where I requires a nasal sound because of the NG In the French language, on the contrary, it is the nasal vowels that cause the succeeding nasal consonant to sound to be dropped, but the trace of the dropped consonant can at times still be heard. Most of the time, French nasal vowels are written right before the letters M and N. There may just be a single vowel causing the nasal quality of the word, such as the following: blanc, okay, pronounced as blanc with a slight hint of the pronounced K at the end. Parfum, burn, and things like that. Nasal vowel. Okay. Now you know, right? Nasal vowels. That's it. That's just the way it goes. Okay? Now, let me explain one or two things here. The nasal vowel. Yes, the nasal vowels. Yes, we have words that end in ing. They pronounce as okay. Sorry, ng rather. Words that end in ng. Okay, sound like okay, like English ing words, okay, ing words, words without the I being pronounced. So what I'm saying is this: if you have ng in French, it's pronounced as okay. The same thing as let me see. There are so many words. Let's just go back to the material now. See if I can pick out one or two words to explain that. Yes, parfum. The nasal sound is on the last syllable, while the vowel on the fourth syllable is pronounced with a short and sharp intonation. Okay, parfum. Is that taken? Brun, not brune, because in the French language, the end sound when it ends a word is not pronounced completely. The last N, in French words are not, or let me say it's not pronounced strongly. Okay, it's not pronounced that strongly because it sounds like something like instead of Is that taken? Like you can see there, brun, parfum. Of course, the parfum there has an M sound instead of an N sound. So now you know, okay? Nasal sounds there. Let's see the other ones there. Certain. Yes, another thing I need you to know: when a word ends in AIN, it's N, not N. Chien means a dog. You can see certain, you can see chien. Certain means certain or some in French, okay? So certain and chien, let me explain them in the Word document now. Now, certain, which means certain or some, is pronounced as certain. Okay, but that N is not pronounced certain. Not certain, not certain, like you have in English, but the words look alike. The other word there, chien, it means dog. Okay, is pronounced chien, not chien. chien. Okay, it's pronounced what? How? As chien. Now, chien. And that end there is not pronounced completely. Okay, so and in the French language, whenever we have ch, it's pronounced as sh, not ch, because there is no such sound as ch in French. So it always sounds like sh, even if you see ch, it's sh. Okay, chien, and things like that. Okay, that's why the English word champagne came from the French language. It's not champagne, although some people mistakenly pronounce it that way. The original French pronunciation has stuck, so it's champagne and not champagne. Let's go back to the material. Aside from all this, the French alphabet also has what is known as the open U. Yes, pronouncing these vowels would require the speaker to round his lips while, yes, keeping the mouth open. Yeah, that's because it's usually U. Okay? Yes, it's usually U, like you have here. U. Okay, and stuff like that. Yes, I can see some example. You have fete. This fete here, you know, it means party. Okay, and it's one of the examples of words with an open U. Well, it doesn't seem to. I think that's a mistake in that very material. Right? It doesn't have an U, so instead it has an S sound. It's pronounced fete. Let's see other words that might have that. Okay, I think what they wanted to do here was to just introduce you to the S sound instead of the U sound. Fete, party. You have other words. Let me see if I can explain. Male, pair. Fete. Words like fete, you have fete. It means party. Party. It's pronounced as fete. Okay, the last E is not pronounced because naturally in the French language the last words are not usually pronounced. Okay, is that taken? So that's why it is fete and not fete. Except you have an R at the end, and it becomes fete. It means to party. Okay, like you can see other words that tete. You see that now when you have an arrow on an E, that E is pronounced as a sharp E sound. Okay, it's a sharp E sound like fete. You can see fete there up there, right? You can see fete. This is fete. This is tet, right? It means head. Yes, you can jot that down. Tet is head. Père is father, and mère mother. Now you can see if you have an arrow on an E is then if you have an accent slanting, okay, downwards, like you have here, it is père, mère, tet. So the arrow on an E and a slanting accent on an E that is downwards is pronounced. They're pronounced the same way as e. Okay, so that's just the way it is. As in the case in French pronunciations of most words, the last vowel is completely omitted when pronouncing. Yes, like I said, when pronouncing the words listed above, the last vowels of all French words are not pronounced. Okay, they're usually omitted. They are usually omitted. It doesn't matter whether it's a conjugated form of the vowel. Sometimes, when you're using the subjunctive, like he, let's say chanter now, chanter, right? Yes, like, you have words like chanter. You have chanter, right? Which means what? To sing. Is that taken? Is that understood? Chanter means to sing. But if you want to say he sings, he chante. Look at it, chante. Okay, means what? What does that mean? He what? Sings. So what I'm saying here is this. It doesn't matter whether it's a conjugated form or not. The last vowel, like we have here, is not pronounced. It's chante, not chanter. It sounds an R, chanter. This is what il chante, not il chanter. Present tense. Is that taken? That's just the way it is. Okay, we have the unstable E sound. The letter is often considered as an unstable vowel in the French language because, it is either pronounced or completely dropped. When pronouncing certain words, now dropping the letter E, or A rather, is often, referred to as elision. And the dropped A can either be called an A muet or an A caduc. Elision often happens when two vowels are placed next to each other in two different ways. Yes, it happens whereby you flush the two together. Let me explain that in the Word documents here. It gives elision, 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 okay? Elision, which means what? Means yes, it means omission. Yeah, it means omission, but it's only, yes, this only applies to two different words that end and start. In a vowel, as respectively. Okay. For example, let me see. Example. Yes. You know, let's say you have la and let's say plus earth. That should be equal to what? Now what the emission that happened here, now because you have la, you can see that la, A ends la at O, which is also a vowel, that starts earth. The egg. The what? Egg. Elision will make this A will disappear and be replaced by an apostrophe like this. It becomes love like this. L apostrophe O E U F. Is that taken? So that's what I'm saying. Okay, that's part of what we're talking about. This is what's called elision, omission. You're omitting the first vowel of the first word and flushing it with this first vowel of the second word. So it becomes l'œuf instead of la oeuf. Is that it? So that is just it, elision, okay? Yes. So that's what elision is about. Aha, that's the unstable E right there. Yes. I think we've dealt with that already. This often happens when any of the 9 basic French single syllable pronouns are used before any word that starts with a vowel. These 9 syllables are se, de, je, le, me, ne, ke, se, te. Yeah, because they all end like you can see in vowels. Can you see that? So before any word that starts in a vowel, the first one will actually disappear. Okay. Let me use this second example, de there, to explain what I'm talking about. Let's say you have something like this. You have something like this. The Afrique. Now this means what? Of Africa. But actually, like I said before, so this will not be correct. Sorry, let me put what I put earlier. So the Afrique. This will now become, like you already know, the apostrophe. The A, this E disappears, okay, and it's replaced with this apostrophe here, and you then have what? Afrique. Yeah, small letter A there, Afrique. That's how the French don't really care about proper nouns like as we do in English. You can make it capital A or small letter A. This is also correct in the French language. So you can see the other options there. Je, which means I, le, the, me, n, not, que, that, say, him or her, or himself or herself or itself. Then te, sorry, te, or te, no, te, you, but in the objective case, okay, you in the objective case as an object. So examples include, you can see that je ne, okay, I do. Elida to je ne. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see this je ne. Okay, Elida to what? Je ne. Can you see that? Je ne. Then laudable, the tree is to laudable. But I think there's an error in this first. Let me correct. There's an error here. Let me correct it there in the text area. I think what they try to illustrate there is, that you have je, right? Je ne actually means I, but and the word that comes after negative, I something not, I whatever not. Let's just say I do not. Yes, not, right, in the bracket is not taken. So which will now be lighted to become what? Let's say je ne. Let me complete it. Je ne. Which supposed to mean I do not have. Is that taken? Okay. It's supposed to mean I do, but that's not how to write it because of the elision, the omission there. This is the correct way. It becomes je, n apostrophe then ai. Okay. Yes, you might say, why is it affecting only ne? Because the two vowel rule of vowel ending one word and vowel starting the other word is what we use here to cancel out the first vowel, which is this e here after the n. So it becomes an apostrophe and becomes je ne and not je ne. Okay, which means I do not have. Okay, so that's just a correction I made there from the material. Yes. This second illustration, now look at it. L'arbre, the tree. You see another vowel ending the first word and one starting the next one. One has to go for the other. And the first one, according to the rule of omission, will always have to disappear and becomes what? L'arbre. Can you see that? L'arbre. Pronounced together. Okay, there's another thing about the French language is that when you are very deep into the French language, maybe your level is becoming intermediary towards advanced, you will begin to understand that French allows us to flush words together as if they're single words. And even based on this rule of omission, now look at l'arbre, not l'arbre, l'arbre, right? Then in cases where you have an S ending a word, and let me even illustrate it here with one example. An S ending a word. Where are you? Okay, there you go. Yes, there are times when you have an S like what now? Look at it. Ending one word, and a vowel starting a word after it. France. Can you see that? Now we have je, suis, en France. Normally S-U-I-S is pronounced suis, but when you have a vowel after the S, the last S there, you have je suis, becomes suis, and the last S is just pronounced as a Z. Okay, je suis en France, je suis en France, not je suis en France. It might be acceptable in some circles. Generally speaking, the last S becomes a Z before the vowel, the next vowel. Is that taken there? Okay, that's just the way it is. Okay, thank you very much. Now let's go back to the material. Yeah, and those of you who are following me on online, just don't forget the introductory knowledge of things in the house. Okay, things in the house and stuff like that. Okay, don't forget all those things, like television and things like that. We'll have to revisit those things over time as time goes by. Yes. Okay. Examples of these words are win, farm. Okay, like you've seen there, right? Yeah, those are another examples of such omissions. In some words, the letter A is not completely dropped. The pronunciation is simply changed into a different vowel sound. This happens mostly on words wherein the letter A is squeezed between two single consonants. Some examples include the following words: devoir, devoir, longement, longement. Yes, when you have a consonant in between two vowels, a vowel. Yeah, the vowels are pronounced. Okay, they're never flush together because they cannot be. You can have a connector there. Usually a consonant, like you have devoir, you can have longement. Devoir, if it's a D-E-V, then O again. Devoir, logement. Devoir usually means homework, right? Or things that you have, chores, things you have to do, work. Usually done at home, homework or assignments. Logement, accommodation, right? The letter delta. Then you have parfaitement, perfectly, okay? Now, on the other hand, emphasis is given to the pronunciation of the letter E if it precedes a double consonant, such as on the following words. Is that understood? Verrez, verrez, verrez. Yes. Just know when a word in French ends in AI, it's air. Okay? Verrez. Is that understood? Verrez. Yeah. Desert, dessert. Now, being able to determine when to pronounce the letter E and when not to is a basic necessity when on the process of learning the French accent. This is because a lot of French words contain this letter in the written spelling, though only about half of these words actually pronounce the E during intonation. Sorry, yeah, intonation. Yeah, so you can learn the French R sound is R. Now, tradition, not tradition. Okay? Is that taken? Tra. Yes, but to most of us English speakers, we think it sounds horrible. But I usually avoid pronouncing it that way. I make it sound more English-like for selfish reasons, you know what I'm saying? But as a French student, to follow the original pronunciation, okay? Just know that the correct pronunciations are those that sound like of the R sound. Tradition, profession, profession, le profession. Now you know. Believe me, it will be well worth your effort. It's also important to remember the French consonants are pronounced with the tongues remaining tensed the whole time. And in order to properly pronounce the consonants, it is necessary to maintain an open mouth while enunciating. So this is unlike the enunciation of most French words, wherein the mouth is almost closed and the last letter, especially the consonant, is swallowed. The semi-consonant W or W, a lot of phonetics experts in the English language often refer to the letter W as a vowel, specifically as a derivative of the letter U. Okay, on the other hand, okay. The semi-consonant Y or Y, the French term for the letter Y, which is Y, could be confusing for many non-French speakers. But note that Y does not denote how the letter is pronounced. Yes, it's just the pronunciation of the letter. It doesn't have anything to do with the words that have the Y there, okay? The letter itself is pronounced Y. It doesn't affect the pronunciation of any words that have it. like this. You have you here, right? You. So it's not y u. Okay, it's you, you, your, and so on and so forth. Cyclism. Okay, cyclisme. Yes, cyclisme is cycling in the French. Okay. Cyclisme, cycling in French. So now you know that the letter Y is pronounced Y, but that pronunciation doesn't have anything to do with any word that has this the letter in it. Okay. Yes. Take the sentence below as an example. Je veux retourner, which means I am going to return, or I will return. Is that this phrase indicates that the speaker wishes to return to a place. It's often followed by the mention of a specific place to complete the sentence, such as en France to France, or en England or Angleterre. I think there's a mistake here. This word England is Angleterre, okay? Angleterre. Let me even write that somewhere. You just know. Je veux retourner. Okay, je veux retourner en Angleterre. But in most cases you have the L, Angleterre. Angleterre, which means England. Okay, what does this mean? I am going to return to what? England. Okay, so you follow me, so you know that. What? Where? Which one?
Angle is E or A?
Angle. This Alangle.
Okay.
Angleterre. That's just the pronunciation. So. Angleterre. Okay, I just want to correct this. It's not supposed to be England. This is French. I think it's a mistake there. Angleterre. Okay. Follow-up sentence. J'ai été. Okay. Now, when you see this Y in French, it means the place. Let me put that here so you know. In case you come across something like, whenever you find Y, this Y, okay, in any sentence, it simply means the place or there. Okay, the particular place being talked about. That's the meaning of that. But it usually comes before the verb j'ai été. This is je, which means which is je, because Y is pronounced in a vowel way. That's why it disappeared though. Okay. Now j'ai été means was, right? It means I was there. I was there. Can you see that? So in this follow-up phrase, the speaker is indicating he was there. This would then be followed by the mention of a time or date. Yes, that would complete the sentence. Yes, the place there where whoever is speaking or writing should indicate, or is likely to be asked by the listener or the reader, if possible, of course, to indicate where. Because the person might then ask the question, où, which means where, okay? Or quel lieu, or quel endroit, which means what place or which place. If you're saying that you are there. We've dealt with this already earlier. Intonation. Yes, when posing a question, the intonation of the French sentence is normally increased. Yes, like est-ce qu'il y a les toilettes ici? Listen again. Est-ce qu'il y a les toilettes ici? Are there toilets here? Look at that. Ici, okay. Où est le journal? Where is the newspaper? And things like that. Voulez-vous un gâteau? Would you like a cake? Gâteau. You see the last expression there is is increased, it's pronounced more loudly towards the end. Okay, and that's what this text is talking about. Yes, when it comes to the writing part, you may already know that written French is not, is a lot more complex compared to spoken French. And of course, this person whose voice you can hear right now, learned through the more written French and not. So, it's even much easier. It's a little bit easier for me to write in French and even to speak. Yes, as I'm still improving in that regard. Now, just looking at how endings of verbs are spelled will show you how complicated, written French is. A verb may end with up to 5 letters and still sound similar to a verb that ends with only 2 letters. For instance, verbs ending in ai is and yes, exactly. That's when it comes to conjugation. This is a very important text. Please pay attention if you're watching this, you're following this right now. Look at AI there and look at AINT. AI means to have, but it's used with the pronoun I. Yeah, I have, right? But when you say they have, it becomes ils. Okay, this is yeah, I have AIENT. Ils ont. Okay, this is past tense. This is the past. This will be used. Let me illustrate something here. Written French. Now, this is it. The written French, when you're talking about the past tense of past tenses of certain verbs used with they, sorry, mistake there. They okay. Now the past tenses used with they, all of them end in IENT. And are pronounced as yes. The what? ENT are silent. Is that taken? So that's what I've just illustrated from the text is ENT will never be pronounced in a conjugated as a conjugated form of a verb. Ils are there, like this. Example. Let me put EG. For example. Okay. For example, let's say I say they. Ils avaient assez de l'argent. Is that taken? Now, ils avaient assez de l'argent is what? They have enough money. Look at it. Avaient, not avaient. The ENT are silent, okay? Ils avaient assez de l'argent. Can you see that? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So let's go back to the original text. So that's what the illustration here is talking about. Yes. Like this, A and IANT, both sound like A, but you can take comfort from the fact that even native French people themselves sometimes find it difficult to spell French words. You may even want to watch the yearly national spelling competition in France to see how spelling French words is extremely difficult. Yeah, it's not easy to spell French words because the pronunciations are very complex. Okay, reading in the written French language, you will frequently see an L apostrophe before a word that starts with a silent H or a vowel. L basically takes the place of LE or La. French words starting with L is pronounced just like how you would. Okay, pronounce words starting with the letter as l'orange, which means the orange, right? In general, consonants found at the end of a French word are not pronounced, like faux. Okay, it's pronounced as faux. One exception are words that end with the letter C, such as sec. Yes, that's an exception, that's sec. Okay? Exactly. Which means dry. I think that means that should mean dry, right? Sec, dry. Which is pronounced as sec, but you need to remember that you need to pronounce the consonant at the end of a word if the word that follows it begins with an H or a vowel. An example is faux ami, which means false friend, right? Or faux ami. Okay, yeah, faux ami. But when you have an X, what they're saying there is this. Always saying if you have an X, it's not just an S. Sometimes you might have an S before the next word starts in a vowel that starts with an A. Instead of faux, this faux and this ami, but faux ami, not